As the wood snake year of the Tibetan lunar calendar comes to a close, we bring you a recap of the most significant Tibet-related events from the past year. Covering the programs of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the worsening human rights situation in Tibet, the Central Tibetan Administration's policies and programs to restore freedom for Tibetans, and the welfare of the exiled Tibetans. The year 2025 marked the 90th birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The celebration Kudun holds special significance in the Tibetan tradition. Tibetans, friends of Tibet, and devotees continue to celebrate Kudun in different ways in various parts of the world. While several world leaders personally visited Dharamshala and Ladakh to meet and greet His Holiness the Dalai Lama, many of them sent in their birthday wishes. Many lawmakers were seen celebrating His Holiness the Dalai Lama's birthday in their respective parliaments. The Central Tibetan Administration announced the year 2025 as the Year of Compassion, celebrating Kudun. His Holiness the Dalai Lama affirmed the continuation of the institution of the Dalai Lama, reiterating the sole authority of the Ganden Podang Trust, Office of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, in recognizing the reincarnation. This historic announcement came amid global speculation surrounding His Holiness the Dalai Lama's reincarnation, driven by a mix of profound spiritual, cultural, and political factors, one of which is China's growing claims over recognition and reincarnation of Tibetan Buddhist figures, most prominently that of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Governments, parliaments, international organizations, and Buddhist associations around the world welcomed His Holiness the Dalai Lama's historic announcement and reaffirmed their support for the Tibetan people's right to religious freedom by explicitly condemning China's interference in the selection of Tibetan religious leaders, including succession of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The Tokyo Declaration, adopted at the 9th World Parliamentarians' Convention on Tibet, and the Prague Declaration on Freedom of Religion or Belief 2025, adopted at the 5th Anniversary Conference of the International Religious Freedom or Belief Alliance, the Article 18 Alliance, affirmed that the reincarnation of the 14th Dalai Lama is a matter to be decided solely by the Tibetan Buddhist community and not by the Chinese government. The European Union and the European Parliament raised the issue at the 25th EU-China Summit and the 40th session of the EU-China Human Rights Dialogue, and issued a joint statement demonstrating a clear and coordinated stance in support of the religious freedom of the Tibetan people and of Tibetan Buddhists worldwide to choose their spiritual leaders. Legislative bodies, including the US Congress, Australian Parliament, the Canadian House of Commons, and the Scottish Government, have formally established policies affirming that the reincarnation of the Dalai Lama is an exclusively religious matter for the Tibetan Buddhist community, directly countering interference by the Chinese government. A group of United Nations human rights experts, in a formal communication, warned China against interference in the succession of the Dalai Lama. As His Holiness the Dalai Lama crossed the age of 90, his enduring message promoting human qualities such as warm-heartedness and care for one another was widely lauded and embraced. This recognition was further underscored when His Holiness received his first Grammy Award for the spoken word album Meditations, the reflection of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, at music's biggest night, the 68th Grammy Awards in Los Angeles. His Holiness the Dalai Lama made a significant number of public appearances in the year 2025, presiding over several long life prayer ceremonies offered to him by devotees from different parts of the world. His Holiness the Dalai Lama reaffirmed his commitment to live a long life and continue working for the well-being of all sentient beings. One of the largest gatherings of thousands at Thekchen Choling Tsuklakhang in Dharamshala was a long life prayer offering by the Assembly of Asian Buddhist leaders and followers from South Korea and 10 Southeast Asian countries, including Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar, Malaysia, and Singapore. During the ceremony, the Assembly of Asian Buddhist leaders and followers unanimously declared His Holiness the Dalai Lama as the universal supreme patriarch of the Buddhist world. His Holiness the Dalai Lama traveled and stayed for over a month in Ladakh, North India, and Mundgot, South India, in summer and winter respectively. During the time, His Holiness gave public teachings, passed out ordination on hundreds of monks, and met with many thousands of people. Many long-life prayer offerings were made to His Holiness by the devotees. These visits of His Holiness the Dalai Lama to South India and the remote regions of Ladakh, along with his relatively longer stays, were seen as pure blessings, especially for the hundreds of devotees who are unable to travel to Dharamshala due to challenges related to health, economic constraints, and geographical inaccessibility. More than 70 years have passed since the Chinese Communist Party's violent invasion of Tibet. Yet repression against Tibet and the Tibetan people has not only persisted, it has become systemic. Once again this year, despite the strict Great Firewall and pervasive surveillance, reports emerging from Tibet bear witness to Chinese Communist Party's policies targeting Tibetan cultural, religious, and demographic structures, even in the face of continued significant resistance from the Tibetans inside the country. Around the time of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday, the Chinese government has taken extreme measures, including intensified surveillance, restrictions on movement, communication and gatherings, illegal interrogations, mass detentions, and deployment of large number of police in monasteries and other areas. These heightened restrictions were visibly seen with the Chinese authorities conducting mass detention of Tibetans in Kanze Monastery, Tango County, Badzong, Kirti Monastery, Kangza, Chenza, and Lhasa, basically all across 3 traditional provinces of Tibet. 2 Tibetans were detained in Chenza in Amdo province without reason. More than 5 monks or nuns were restrained from gathering in several monasteries, and over 200 Tibetans were interrogated over alleged links to His Holiness the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday celebration. Sources also reported Chinese authorities detained a young Tibetan singer, Tsukde, popularly known as Asang and Peljong, for singing a song in praise of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and expressing their longing for the return of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. In March 2025, the death of Tibetan religious leader and philanthropist Hunga Doji in Vietnam, reportedly under the watch of Chinese secret agents, came as another blow to the religious and cultural sentiments of the Tibetan people. Reports say Tugu Hunga Doji, the throne holder of Lugwe Monastery in Gade County of Amdo, Tibet, was arrested from his hotel room in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, through a coordinated operation by local police and Chinese secret agents. He was reportedly then transferred to the local public security office, where he passed away same day under suspicious circumstances, raising serious concerns about cross-border security, cooperation, transnational repression, and human rights violations. Born in 1969 in Tibet's Amdo province, Tugu Hunga Doji was a remarkable Tibetan spiritual leader whose contribution to the preservation of Tibetan identity through education, healthcare, and cultural initiatives remained unwavering till the end. Sources have reported that Chinese officials in Tibet detained and interrogated Tugu Hunga Doji a few times prior to his visit to Vietnam. Kasa Dugar Doma, aged 85, the mother of the late Hunga Doji Rinpoche, reportedly passed away in Golok Amdo following a prolonged illness caused and exacerbated by the distress and emotional toll of her son's sudden death. The Central Tibetan Administration, the Tibetan Parliament in Exile, and non-governmental organizations strongly condemned the Chinese government's role in the death of Tugu Hunga Doji, calling for accountability and intervention, and urged the Vietnamese government, international human rights bodies, and the global Tibetan community to press for a thorough and transparent investigation. The chair of the European Parliament's Subcommittee on Human Rights, MEP Munir Satori, and the chair of the Delegation for Relations with People's Republic of China, MEP Engin Eroklu, have jointly addressed a letter to the Chinese ambassador to the European Union concerning the suspicious death of Tugu Hunga Doji. Another grave assault on Tibetan religious heritage by Chinese authorities became evident from the reports of the demolition of hundreds of Buddhist stupas and statues in Kanze, eastern Tibet. Around late May and early June 2025, Chinese authorities have reportedly destroyed over 300 Buddhist stupas, a revered Guru statue, and a newly constructed statue of Khenpo Jigme Phuntsok, the late founder abbot of Serthar Buddhist Institute in Trango County of Kanze, Tibet. Chinese authorities claimed the stupas were built on government land and imposed a further information blackout. The crackdown has extended beyond Tanggo County. Every movement of the Tibetans are surveilled and followed, and when the entire world rejoiced in the global celebration of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday, all public gatherings were banned that week in Kanse and regions nearby. Arbitrary arrest, incommunicado detention, and enforced disappearances of Tibetans in Tibet are no longer news to the Tibetan people. Such violations occur frequently and at an increasing intensified pace, particularly targeting abbots, teachers, artists, environmentalists, and scholars, and community leaders, entailing high risk of torture and death in custody. Even with strong restrictions on the information flow, reports say a senior monk of Kirti Monastery, Tibet, who was arbitrarily arrested in December 2024 by the police of Sangchu County, remains missing even after 8 months of his arrest. His name is Geshe Kunjo Chodak, a senior monk and teacher at the monastery. Reports also showed China's escalating repression, driving Tibetans to take their own lives. Chinese police in Lhasa have reportedly assaulted and manhandled Gombuki, the sister of imprisoned Tibetan political prisoner Dorje Tashi. Sources stated that driven by desperation, Gombuki attempted suicide and was in a critical condition, having sustained serious injuries to her waist and limbs. Dorje Tashi, once a successful Tibetan businessman, was arrested during the 2008 protest in Tibet and subjected to months of torture while in detention. In the year 2010, after a close trial at Lhasa Intermediate People's Court, he was sentenced to life imprisonment on fabricated charges of loan fraud. Rights groups consider this case politically motivated. His brother Dorje Tseden received a 6-year imprisonment at the same time and was later released. Since his imprisonment, Dorje Tashi's family has repeatedly sought legal review of the case multiple times and in multiple ways. A 52-year-old Shersang Gyatso, a senior Tibetan monk at Tsang Monastery in Amto, reportedly took his own life in the monastery compound due to severe restrictions imposed, especially on religious activities by the Chinese government. Chinese authorities expelled all monks under the age of 18 from the monastery, and the restrictions and movements have been further intensified since His Holiness the Dalai Lama's 90th birthday celebration, according to the sources. There have been regular house searches of monks and mandatory daily sessions on political indoctrination. Deaths from torture in prisons and detention centers have become common cases in Tibet. According to reliable sources, Tugupalden Wangel, the head Lama of Chogyal Monastery in Bade Kardap Nyangle and Shungor villages of Konjo in Tibet, passed away in prison at the age of 53 after prolonged detention. Initially held in Konjo County prison by the Chinese authorities, Tugupalden Wangel was later transferred to Chamdo and Lhasa. Despite multiple appeals for his release, the Chinese authorities refused to respond and imposed strict prohibitions on any contact with him. In the year 2025, he was forcibly moved to Kansu province, where he continued to face unrelenting torture, resulting in his death in custody. Tugupalden Wangel was known as an individual deeply committed to the welfare of the local Tibetan community. The Chinese Communist Party's assault has not been confined to the repression of the Tibetan people. Tibet's ecology has also been severely damaged since China's occupation in the year 1959. Large-scale mining, damming of rivers, and the rapid construction of mega infrastructure projects, often carried out without thorough research or consent of local people, have backfired, exposing the recklessness of China's development policies and fueling resentment among the Tibetan people. Sources have confirmed that the situation in Kashi village, Sershul County, Zachuka, Eastern Tibet, fell extremely tense after Chinese authorities conducted mass arrests, torture and interrogation, and invasive home searches following local Tibetans' objection to gold mining activity in the village. In November 2025, around 80 local Tibetans were reportedly arrested by Chinese authorities, who were reportedly taken to Sershul County for interrogation, where they were tortured. Many of them were held for over a month after their arrest. In view of the grave violations of rights and freedom committed by the Chinese Communist Party in Tibet, the situation in Tibet has continued to remain on the agenda in discussions concerning China's human rights record. A new United Nations report issued one of the clearest warnings to date that Chinese state policies in Tibet are actively eroding the foundations of Tibetan civilization, threatening the survival of Tibetans as a distinct people. These findings appear in a report to the United Nations Human Rights Council by Special Rapporteur on Minority Issues, Nicholas Levrat. While global in scope, the report explicitly identifies Tibet as a case where state-led policies are not merely discriminatory, but constitute what the United Nations expert describes as eradication in more subtle ways. At the 58th United Nations Human Rights Council, UN High Commissioner Volker Turk raised serious concerns about human rights abuses in Tibet, East Turkestan, and Hong Kong. He condemned China's arbitrary detention of lawyers, activists, and journalists under vague criminal charges. 28 European countries have raised concerns about deteriorating human rights situation in Tibet in their joint statement at the 58th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council. At the 60th United Nations Human Rights Council, multiple nations raised concerns over human rights in Tibet. A group of United Nations human rights experts has expressed grave concern over the arrest and forced disappearance and subsequent death in custody of prominent Tibetan religious figure Tugu Hunga Doje. In two separate communications, the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, the Working Group on Enforced and Involuntary Disappearances, the Special Rapporteur on Extrajudicial Summary and Arbitrary Executions, and the Special Rapporteur on Minority Issues called for urgent clarification and an independent investigation into the case and reminded both China and Vietnam of their obligations under the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. The Congressional Executive Commission on China's annual report of 2025 confirmed grave violations of human rights in Tibet by the Communist Party of China. The United States Commission on International Religious Freedom released its 2025 annual report on the religious freedom conditions in 2024. The report noted that religious freedom conditions in China remained among the worst in the world in 2024. Three United Nations Special Rapporteurs released a joint communication to raise concerns over the summoning and questioning of Tibetan environmental activist Tsogön Tsering, as well as his subsequent detention due to his activism against sand mining in and around his hometown Ngaba, Tibet. On the occasion of the 36th birthday of Tenzin Gyendun Yishe Tilne Phunzo Pelsangbo, well known to the world as Gyendun Chogi Nyima, the 11th Panchen Lama of Tibet, several members of the European Parliament demanded Chinese government for his release to immediately disclose his whereabouts. The European Parliamentary Group for Tibet has also tabled a written question to the High Representative on the 11th Panchen Lama. Likewise, from the Swiss Parliamentary Group for Tibet, the German Commissioner for Freedom of Religion or Belief, Italian Senator, German Member of Parliament, and the Chairman of the Tibetan Parliamentary Group in Bundestag have all issued statements or publicly tweeted, pressing China to speak on the whereabouts and to release the 11th Panchen Lama. At the 42nd EU-China Interparliamentary Meeting, the European Parliament adopted a resolution condemning China's systematic violations of religious freedom in Tibet. The resolution was adopted during its plenary in Strasbourg, held from May 5th to 8th, 2025. Marking the International Human Rights Day, the delegation of the European Union in China issued a statement condemning China's interference in the matter of His Holiness the Dalai Lama's reincarnation and reiterating concerns about the overall human rights situation in the country. At the 25th EU-China summit held in Beijing, the European Union voiced serious concerns about the human rights situation in Tibet, including the abuse and persecution of human rights defenders and restrictions on fundamental freedoms. In a formal communication dated 15th July 2025, 6 United Nations Special Rapporteurs and working groups wrote to the Chinese government regarding Tibetan political prisoner Namgyal's arbitrary detention, sentencing, and ill treatment while in prison. The experts raised significant concern on this matter and said that the case illustrates violations of international human rights law, creates a deeply suppressive environment, and discourages Tibetans inside Tibet from freely exercising their rights. Focusing strongly on educating the young Indians on the situation inside Tibet and China's expansionist policy and its threat to India, The Friends and Supporters of Tibet in India met to discuss and plan their Tibet advocacy programs. All-Party Indian Parliamentary Forum for Tibet and the Core Group for Tibetan Cause India held a meeting on Tibet advocacy and awareness initiatives. Their meetings focused on strengthening parliamentary advocacy for Tibet and raising public awareness among Indian masses while addressing challenges faced by the Tibetan community in India. The All-Party Indian Parliamentary Forum for Tibet convened meeting at Samvidhan Sadan, New Delhi, to discuss and reinforce parliamentary advocacy for Tibet. Core Group for Tibetan Cause India held its annual meeting by bringing together 13 core group members. The Core Group for Tibetan Cause in India also held press conference in Dharamshala calling for strengthened awareness on the importance of a free Tibet for India's security among young Indians. Member of Indian Parliament and co-convener of All-Party Indian Parliamentary Forum for Tibet, Tapir Gao, called upon the Indian government to recognize His Holiness the Dalai Lama's lifelong commitment to promotion of peace and non-violence. During the monsoon session of Indian Parliament, the Lok Sabha member of the Parliament made an appeal to the Indian government to confer upon the 90-year-old Tibetan spiritual leader India's highest civilian award, Bharat Ratna. As the Central Tibetan Administration observed 2025 as the Year of Compassion, commemorating the 90th birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the annual calendar marked special occasions, including 17th November 2025, the 75th anniversary of His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama's assumption of both temporal and spiritual leadership of Tibet, and 22nd February 2026, the 86th anniversary of his enthronement. All the official commemorations of the year 2025 saw delegations from different countries such as Estonia, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, Chile, New Zealand, Fiji Islands, Australia, France, Japan, Switzerland, and Canada visit Dharamshala in a symbolic act of support and solidarity. The series of visiting delegations sought an audience with His Holiness the Dalai Lama and paid special visits to the seat of Central Tibetan Administration. The leadership of the Central Tibetan Administration received the official delegations by organizing receptions and press conferences, strengthening existing friendships, and garnering new support from the world parliamentarians, governments, civil societies, and media organizations. The leadership of the Central Tibetan Administration, including the Kashak or cabinet, led by Honorable Sikyong or the political leader Pemba Tsering, and the Tibetan Parliament in exile, led by Speaker Khenpo Sonam Tempel, undertook several Tibet advocacy and diplomatic outreach initiatives. These efforts were marked by meetings with ministers, lawmakers, government officials, and prominent think tank and media personnel. The Kashak or the cabinet, under the leadership of the Honorable Sikyong Pemba Tsering, together with Kalans or ministers Doma Geri, Tharlam Doma Changra, and Norzin Dolma, hosted more than 200 distinguished guests at the seat of the Central Tibetan Administration. The delegation comprised members of parliament, ministers, ambassadors, senior government officials, policy and research officers, and journalists from 23 countries, including Australia, Austria, Canada, Chile, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Fiji, France, Germany, Hong Kong, India, Italy, Japan, Nepal, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Scotland, Sri Lanka, Switzerland, Taiwan, the United States, and the United Kingdom. The gathering served as platforms for advocacy and outreach efforts related to Tibet, further strengthening international engagement on Tibetan issues. Sikyong Pemba Tsering inspected the conditions of schools, clinics, and old age homes of the exiled Tibetan community in the settlements in India. During the visits, Sikyong met with Indian leaders of the respective states and appealed for continued support to the Tibetan community. During his visits to North America, Sikyong Pemba Tsering held a series of high-level meetings on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. and in the Canadian House of Commons, including discussions with members of Congress such as Representative Michael McCall, former chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Senator Paul Grove, Senator Jeff Merkley, a long-standing advocate for Tibetan rights and lead sponsor of bipartisan Resolve Tibet Act of 2024, and Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. Sikyong also met with senior officials from the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Democracy, Human Rights and Labor, the Bureau of South and Central Asian Affairs, and the Bureau of East Asian and Pacific Affairs, as well as ranking members of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. These significant diplomatic engagements came at a crucial juncture for the Tibetan cause amid evolving geopolitical dynamics and shifts in U.S. foreign assistance policies. During his meetings with lawmakers and researchers, Si Kyung emphasized that U.S. support for the Tibetan people should not be viewed solely through lens of humanitarian assistance. Rather, he underscored that the Tibetan issue is inherently linked to American strategic interest, particularly in the Indo-Pacific region, and reflects the core values upheld by the United States. Si Kyung Pembasring also attended the Geneva Forum, gave keynote speech at the 29th Forum 2000 in Prague, and addressed the International Religious Freedom Summit 2026, drawing attention to condemning China's claim over succession of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and China's extensive exploitation of Tibet's natural resources through mining and construction of massive dams in seismically vulnerable regions, the ecological consequences of these activities, and the threat to water security and climate stability of Asia and beyond. Si Kyung held separate meetings with sinologists, journalists, and analysts from Synopsis and senators of Czech Republic. In June 2025, the Tibetan Parliament in Exile, in collaboration with the Japan Parliamentary Support Group for Tibet, organized the 9th World Parliamentarians Convention on Tibet in Tokyo, Japan. Held at the International Conference Hall of the Japanese Parliament, the convention brought together 142 participants from 29 countries to deliberate on strengthening global solidarity for Tibet, countering Chinese influence, and advancing coordinated legislative efforts. 3 key documents were unanimously adopted during the World Parliamentarians Convention on Tibet: the Tokyo Declaration, the Tokyo Action Plan, and the resolution celebrating the legacy of His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama on his birthday. In December 2025, the Tibetan Parliament in Exile conducted a major outreach and advocacy campaign in New Delhi, led by Speaker Khenpo Sonam Tempel. Standing committee members met with Indian Union ministers, members of parliament across party lines, and leaders to highlight China's oppressive policies in Tibet and seek support. The Speaker and the Deputy Speaker also received several foreign delegations at the Tibetan Parliament in Exile. The Kaluns, or the ministers of the Central Tibetan administration, were also seen engaging in diplomatic interactions with the likes of Sri Kiran Rijiju, the Minister of Minority Affairs in the Government of India, and ambassadors, high commissioners, and several senior officials of embassies and high commissions. This year marks the 4th time that Tibetans in diaspora are heading to the polls, since His Holiness the Dalai Lama fully devolved political authority to the directly elected political leader, or the Si Kyung. The Central Election Commission held a series of press conferences, making announcements on electoral processes, election schedules, and general guidelines for the 2026 Tibetan general election. The preliminary rounds of elections for 2025-2026 Si Kyung and the members of 18th Tibetan Parliament in Exile was held on February 1, 2026, and the final election will be held on April 26, 2026. The Central Election Commission expressed their firm commitment to conduct the elections in a free, fair, inclusive, and peaceful manner. As about 100,000 Tibetans registered for the upcoming Tibetan general election, the Election Commission established 309 polling zones under the supervision of 87 regional election officers and a total of 1,737 election officers across 27 countries. As the year comes to an end, as per the Tibetan lunar calendar, Tibetans around the world continue to observe 2025 to 2026 as the Year of Compassion, commemorating Kodun and celebrating the 90th birthday of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. From tree plantation drives to pledges to increase the use of Tibetan language, these celebrations are being marked in diverse and meaningful ways by a large number of people. In Gangtok, Tibetans initiated a plantation drive of 113 trees, while in Puruvala, 130 trees were planted in furtherance of His Holiness's long-standing commitment to environmental protection. Darjeeling witnessed participation of over 9,000 people in Compassion Run 2025, symbolizing deep reverence for His Holiness as the champion of humanity and compassion. The Manjushri Center of Tibetan Culture, in collaboration with Darjeeling Local Godun Committee, organized an event in which local Tibetan residents collectively pledged to prioritize the use of Tibetan language both within the settlement and at homes, reaffirming their commitment to the preservation of Tibetan linguistic and cultural heritage. The Regional Kodun Committee in Harbarpur distributed essential educational materials to 186 students across 4 local government schools. In Ladakh, 40 trainers from Indo-Tibetan Border Police and hospital staff were honored for their services, and an animal feed drive was also undertaken. In the Kullu, Manali and Bundar region, clothing were distributed to needy families during the harsh winter months, while Dharamshala witnessed mass cleanliness drives. In Manang, Nepal, free medical camps were organized to provide health checkups in observance of the Year of Compassion. In countries such as Switzerland, Belgium, Germany, France, Denmark, the United States and Australia, Tibetans and supporters of Tibet observed the Year of Compassion by organizing and participating in Tibet festivals, photo exhibitions on the life and legacy of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, public talks on His Holiness's 4 principal commitments, and screenings of documentary films promoting His Holiness's message of love and compassion. In Belgium, a year-long initiative was launched to provide free meals to 50 people each month. In Latin America, a cultural and spiritual tour was conducted across Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, and Mexico in celebration of His Holiness's 90th birthday. In several parts of the world, peace and compassion-themed cycling rallies were also organized as part of the Year of Compassion or Kodun celebrations. Those were the top news of the Tibetan wood snake year. Tibettv wishes all its viewers a very happy and a prosperous Losar.